everybody, and welcome back to IndieQuest, the celebration of the indie and obscure. My name is Josh, one of your co-hosts, and I'm here with my other co-host, Captain Drachma. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Got back from a vacation a couple weeks ago now, and oddly enough, I am actually heading back to Pittsburgh this week. So we're actually recording a day early because I leave tomorrow morning, but my company's corporate office is in Pittsburgh, so I will have visited the city of Pittsburgh randomly twice in a month. So kind of interesting. But how are you doing, Josh?
I've been doing pretty good. Picking up some more hours at work. Just really busy lately, I guess. But besides that, just kind of hanging out when I get my downtime. Trying to get in some indie games. Actually, I've been playing a couple here and there, like Dave the Diver. Still playing that. We might talk about that a little bit on this episode, actually. But I don't know. Just every moment I have downtime, I've been just pulling out the Steam Deck or popping on the Xbox for Game Pass and just trying to get 30 minutes to an hour in between everything. You know how it is.
Yeah. I actually have taken a slight break from indie games because I told myself that I wanted to finish 3 longer RPG type games this year, and I am actually working on Dragon Quest IV right now. And it's probably kind of a two-sided thing because where I usually play my indie games is on my laptop, which I generally have hooked up to my external monitor, my big monitor, in my office where I work. But my house doesn't have central air, so that's part of the reason I haven't been in here as much, because I have no air conditioning in here. I only really have air conditioning where we have window airs, and one of them's in the living room. We've got some upstairs. So I haven't been spending as much time on my PC in the last couple of weeks, but instead I've been playing Dragon Quest IV on my 3DS where the air is, because it's been very hot lately. But I will certainly be getting back to the indie stuff over the next couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. There's always so many games out anyway.
Yeah.
Like, might as well, if you have a longer one, you're just like enjoying kind of absorbing yourself into. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. But I just completely relate to the heat thing, and that's actually why I'm playing my Steam Deck more, because the AC is in the bedroom. So it's like, instead of being out in the living room where the TV is, I'll be sitting on the couch, just sweat dripping down my brow.
Yes,
I'd rather just be in the room with the AC, just kicking my feet up, in the bed or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I could pick up my laptop, because it is a laptop, and take it and play it on the couch or whatever, and not have to be hooked up to my bigger monitor. But up to this point, I've just been enjoying some handheld gaming lately. So I am very jealous of your Steam Deck. I wish I could do that.
You should get one, man. It's only $400. Not that big of a deal, right?
There's something about it where it's like, I would love to have that and be able to take my Steam library on the go, quote unquote. But I already have like a semi-portable thing that also has my Steam library on it. And so, I don't know. I really like that, because I love handhelds in general. So I would love to be able to hold that in my hand and take it literally anywhere in my house and play it without having to worry about a huge setup or taking a power brick. But I'm not there yet. I haven't quite crossed that hump that says, yeah, I'll have another even smaller, basically PC that's only good for playing games. I really want it, obviously. I think it's awesome, but I haven't justified it yet in my head. So
I'm just secretly a spokesperson for Steam and Valve, so it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just that if we can just get Drachma to buy one, we just need that one more sale, and that will just tip us over the edge, and we'll be multi-billionaires. Yeah,
pretty much. All right. Well, today we're doing. It's been a little bit since we've done one of these episodes. We're doing an IndieQuest OST, or IQ OST for short, where we each pick a selection of indie video game music, have a chat about it, and just kind of have a listening party for some awesome jams that, while we're playing the indie games, that are earworms that like get in the back of our skull and they never stop playing, and hopefully they get stuck in your head too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Josh, The question is, do you want to lead us off today, or do you want me to?
Let's see. Did you want to go last? Because I thought did you have like an outro song that you're into, or does it matter?
Oh, no, it doesn't matter. I have one song that for the audience, no one's going to be able to go look up because it's not on YouTube. But, or you can purchase it, I will say. But I wanted that one to be last for me, but it doesn't have to be the last song. So totally up to you, Josh. If you want to kick us off, you can.
All right, awesome. So I guess this is actually a good spot to start off. I'm take a song from the game we talked about, or at least I mentioned at the top, Dave the Diver. So I actually think this game has a lot of good elements to it. It has great art direction. It has a very addicting loop. If you don't know what the game is, I probably will bring it to a quest log if somebody doesn't beat me to it someday in the future. But short and sweet, it is a fishing exploration game that has roguelike elements. And then all the fishes that you capture at night, you sell and you create sushi out of for a sushi restaurant, which is kind of like a restaurant management sim that's similar to like Root Beer Tapper, pretty much. And so it's like a mismatch of different elements, different systems and things, which I'll talk about later. Like I said, I'm playing it, so don't be surprised if I bring it to the quest log one day. But I think this game's excellent and it has very good ambient music. And this will be a song that plays maybe a little deeper down in the depths, and it's called The Blue Hole from the Dave the Diver OST. Let's kick back and zen out, I guess.
Let's do it.
So what I think about when I'm playing this game is a lot of the music is very, especially with like the aquatic vibes, it's very Donkey Kong Country aquatic ambience, and I feel like there's multiple tracks that you could be like, if someone's like, oh yeah, this is like a modern Donkey Kong aquatic ambience, you'd be like, yeah, that's it. And so that's very much the vibes I was picking up from this track.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And also a little bit of Fez in there, a little bit of just some of the smoother Minecraft tunes. Like, it's any game that can exist in that aquatic world for most of it is doing great because what water songs are ever bad? Like that, it just lends itself to that smooth, like you're floating on a raft. I love that kind of music in video games, and that was a great song.
Yeah, the only negative aquatic song I can think of is if you're in Sonic 2 and you're drowning. You know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to mention this was composed by Julio Calillo or Hukio Calillo. And I think that the soundtrack is actually made by the developers themselves, which happens a lot with indie devs. So if you guys haven't checked out Dave the Diver, I know it's picking up a lot of traction with different podcasters, things like that. I think this is definitely one of those ones that if you want something chill to play, a lot of the music's like that. It's very just relaxing, I would say, would be the key term for this game. And then it gets kind of zany too. So if you want a game with just a really unique style and feel, I would say go check that out. And then you might hear more about it in the future. So that was my song today, and which was, I don't even know if I said the name of the song. I think it's just called The Blue Hole. That's what what it was.
You said it.
Okay, cool. And what is the first song you brought today?
So my loose theme today is to attempt to bring songs from games I've played this year, and specifically games that came out in 2023. I want to highlight at least the early part of 2023, right? Games that have come out, indie games, and I've enjoyed a lot of the music that I've heard so far this year. So without further ado, my first song is from Cassette Beasts. And I don't know if you remember, Josh, but I mentioned that a lot of the tunes in Cassette Beasts have vocals, and I didn't usually leave them on in the game itself during gameplay. But upon re-listens, like when I'm working and things like that, when I put this soundtrack on, I love the vocals. Shelby Harvey is the vocalist who in these songs and does a wonderful job. So for this song, Wherever We Are Now, she's incredible, and I think that everyone deserves to hear it. So let's take a listen. right, so that was Wherever We Are Now. And like I said, Shelby Harvey does an excellent job singing in all of the songs in Cassette Beast, but especially that one. That's the town theme, so you hear it pretty often when you go back there to talk to different NPCs and get your quests to go back out into the wilds, right? But I just really, that song really resonates with me. You hear it often. It's super calming, makes you want to just chill out in town, talk to your friends. What did you think, Josh?
It feels very nostalgic without it being old. I guess it just
Yeah.
has that feeling to it. It really does feel like a bunch of people that are either great friends or know each other well are just hanging out, relaxing. Maybe like on an island. The lyrics seem like they resonate. I didn't pick up very much of what the lyrics were saying, but it was like, you know, here we are together, maybe for the first time or final time, but doesn't matter. We're here in it together type of feeling, which is really nice. I just feel like it just has a very cozy and warm feeling to it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it's going for. There's a big emphasis on campfires and stuff throughout the game, and I feel like even though that's a town theme, it almost feels like you could be sitting around a campfire, and really the town is almost the big campfire, right? It's the hub of the overworld. So very interesting in that way. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Josh, what
Yeah.
is your next song?
Yeah, just something that's warm and cozy, which a lot of people like, is hanging out in giant skyscraper cigarette towns and spray painting things. So the next song is from Sludge Life 2, which you know that I had a great time with. And always has awesome music because one of the developers, Dose One, is primarily, I don't know if it's primarily at this point, but one of the things he does a lot is he makes a lot of music. So there's a lot of tracks in this game just generally. And the way they do the music in the game itself is basically little boom boxes that you walk by inside of the world, and then a song will be playing on it, and there's dozens of them, literally. So one that actually kind of got stuck in my head, and I don't know specifically where it was, but I heard it quite a bit throughout the game. I was like going through the track list. I was like, there's this one song that just kept popping up that I don't know if it's random what song plays on which radio, but the song that I kept hearing a lot was Crab with Attitude from Sludge Life 2 OST. So let's give it a listen. So I brought that track specifically for Sludge Life Superfan Vyar. So shout out to you, man. But anyway, what do you think about it? I know you like Gungeon and things like that, where Dose One's done the soundtrack. So how did it hit you? You know, I feel like a lot of the music in this soundtrack is not exactly like that, but it all has the same vibe. So what do you think?
I think it's great. I love that. I was tapping my toe the entire time. Nice little beat. And we were kind of talking as we were listening, and you can almost hear the crab in the background, like you pointed out, Josh. I think it's really good. I think it's very catchy. Works perfectly for the type of game Sludge Life is.
Yeah, I think it was a very creative thing to make the game kind of silent, except for just like the boom boxes in the world. Like I said, I think I did mention that in the review, but if I didn't, that's part of the game. So it's nice to hear, and like it's obviously a looping track. It'll just keep going over and over again while you're exploring, and then if you go to a different boom box, it's a different track, and then has a bunch of rap songs in there with Big Mud, which I'm pretty sure is just Dose One with his voice super modified, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out that soundtrack if you haven't. Even if you're not interested in playing the game, it's
Yeah, he does a similar thing in the Gungeon theme song too, where he tones down his voice sometimes, tones it up in other ways, and distorts it, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So I mean, even if you're not really interested in playing this game, I do think it's a good soundtrack that can live on its own, especially if you're like hanging out, just like working, work from home or doing some chores. It's just really good background music. So that's always something awesome for video game tracks. So what's the next song that you brought?
All right, for my next song, I brought a song from the game Vengeful Guardian Moonrider, which I brought a while ago now. At the very beginning of the year, I think is when it came out. But I mentioned at the time that this game plays a lot like Mega Man X type games, almost playing as Zero in those games, but also mentioned that the soundtrack is a lot like the Mega Man X soundtrack. So I wanted to bring a song from it called Ashura's Fleet, and we'll see what you think about it, Josh, and everyone else. So that song just gets me hyped up and honestly makes me want to go back and play that game. I played it, 100%ed it, put it on the side quest because it could be better, but it's already nostalgic. It's one of those games that already feels nostalgic. It probably has a lot to do with the music. It's kind of retro styled music. Also, the graphics are retro influenced. It's just a really great game with a really great soundtrack.
Really enjoyed
Josh,
it.
what did you think?
Definitely
of that song?
reminds me of TMNT. It feels like it's straight out of that era, like Turtles in Time, which I mentioned to you while the song was playing. But anyway, I can definitely see it as something that there's a lot of quick and fast action on screen. It just like gets you amped up to keep playing. So I love the very MIDI sounding instruments in the background, and it's just pumping, man. It just gets you hyped.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and the majority of the soundtrack throughout is just like that, and just in different flavors. It's constantly making you want to get back into the action, and that's what I love about it. But Josh, I think that you have a final song for us today.
Yes, I do. So this game is a game we haven't talked about at all on IndieQuest, and it's actually a very small and obscure game, which suits our motto, indie and obscure. It's a game by the people that made a little known game Nidhogg. So the developer was Messhoff Games, and one of their first games they made, and this is a game I actually recently been playing. So the soundtrack's just been sticking it to me. It's like in my head constantly, and the game is called Flywrench. So it's pretty much kind of like a super challenging platforming flying game. And I guess that's the only way I can really describe it too much. You play a little flat ship that can change colors, and you do platforming challenges with it. But in the background is these just awesome bangers. So let's listen to one of the songs that they've got for the soundtracks called Just for Tonight. And it's by, what's the artist on this one? Just for Tonight by Mark Redito from the Flywrench OST. So what did you think about that funkadelic elevator music? That's all I could think of when I heard that track. And it's really good. It got me into the zone playing the game too.
I think it's great. It's very calming and serene. I'm sure it works very well with the gameplay. I wouldn't even call it elevator music necessarily,
Yeah.
but it's on in the middle of it. It is almost like you're on like a very upbeat elevator, and then you get off onto like the top floor of a penthouse or something, or like the penthouse floor, and there's a bunch of like people partying because there's like a whole bunch of people laughing in the background, which has caught me completely off guard. But I thought that was a very chill song, and could imagine based on what you described the game like that it would fit very well.
Yeah, so the game is actually one of those, I guess, quote unquote, splatformers, kind of. It's hard to describe, but the thing about the game is it's challenging, and you can start hitting your head against the wall a few times in levels and stuff. But if you have like nice, chill, cozy music, or some of the tracks are even more like discordant sounding, a little more, I guess, techno-y, and but if you're just not bobbing your head while you're playing the game, so it doesn't feel quite as much of a punishment if you get stuck on a level for a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what they're going for with the soundtrack, I think. So I think you have one final song for us as well. So what is this final song that's not on YouTube that people can't look up?
Yeah, so I purchased this soundtrack. Anybody can go and listen to this song whenever they want to, I will say, because this is a free game that I played earlier for the quest log. It is Bloody Hell. So this might be one of the only places on the internet that you can technically listen to this song outside of the game unless you purchase the soundtrack. But I will say that if you enjoy this song, you should go and purchase the soundtrack to support the devs and go and play this game already because it's amazing. Even if bullet hell type shooter type games aren't your favorite types of games, it is highly recommended by me, as I said during the review, and free. So go check it out. But before you do that, let's take a listen to Celestial Lounge. All right, so that was Celestial Lounge from Bloody Hell, and it is super relaxing, super smooth song. Kind of gives you that break from the constant action that is in Bloody Hell, because I will say that is the only relaxing song in Bloody Hell. All of the other ones are super upbeat, metal, but that one just really is a good vibes theme. And I don't know, on a hot summer day, I guess I would sometimes prefer to listen to that. So maybe that was just more of what I was in the mood in to bring to this episode. What did you think, Josh?
Yeah, I was like, man, I want to just kick back and have some sparkling grape juice and play a video game and it's going to be super relaxing. It's definitely not going to be called Bloody Hell. It's going to be called Cigarette Lounge, simulator or something. That's the vibes I was getting from this song. I was very surprised from the tonal shift from what you've described this game and the song. So it was nice to hear it. It was a beautiful song, very relaxing. I think that's kind of the tone of the episode right now, is this kind of cozy, relaxing songs, which is not a bad thing. I think people have probably enjoyed that. But yeah, I was very surprised to hear that tone coming from Bloody Hell. But it was awesome.
Yeah, it occurs in like the hub world, right? Like where you
Right.
go back to purchase some things when you're not battling, right? So it makes sense that would be. It's actually technically in quote unquote heaven, right? So which makes
Yeah.
a little bit more sense, right? Celestial lounge. So, but yeah, I kind of ruined it. I feel bad because all of your songs were pretty chill. I threw one song in there that was more upbeat, right? So I kind of ruined our
I don't think
super
so.
smooth listening. Yeah. But anyway, that was an awesome group of songs that the two of us brought. I will say, I think we can pat ourselves on the back.
Easy listening with the IQ guys, That's all it is.
Right.
Anyway, I think that's going to do it for our IQ OST. I think we brought some awesome music. I do want to just throw out there for the Bloody Hell soundtrack. It's actually like a donation, right? Like it's just an extra thing you can buy since the game is free. So go check out the game and kick the developer some money if you like the music and you like the game.
Yes, I highly recommend that. I did it. The game is so good, they deserve something for it. So if you enjoy that game, purchase that soundtrack.
Awesome. I think it's time for some plugs. Where can they find you on the good old interwebs?
You can find me at Captain Drachma on X, Twitter, whatever that is. That's where I'm at over there. You can also find me in the place that shouldn't be changing names anytime soon, and that is the Polymedia Discord. Best place on the internet. You can find myself and Josh and Steve and a whole bunch of other really cool people in that Discord. Where can they find you, Josh?
Over on Twitter, not X, Twitter. I'm not gonna let it die. At Frantic Society. You can also find me on the Discord, and you can find me and all of us here and get a hold of us at IndieQuest Pod on Twitter as well. And if you send us a DM, send us a reply, you're most likely you will get some type of response from us. So we're always very interactive with people that go check out our social media. We're also we have an email address, which is indiequestpod@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, topics of interest that you guys want to hear us break down, send it on over there, and we'll read it on the show. So we're also part of the amazing Polymedia Network. Check out all our podcasts at polymedianetwork.com. It's full of a bunch of shows for people who love nostalgia, video games, movies, and various things like that. If you're at all interested, it's polymedianetwork.com. One last time. Well, that's going to do it for IndieQuest OST, or IQ OST for short. So we're going to wrap it up with a song from a game that none of us really talk about too often, which is Stardew Valley. And it's summertime. So let's listen to Summer. The Sun Can Bend an Orange Sky from the Stardew Valley OST by Concerned Ape. Have a fantastic day and see you next time.